Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Playing World of Tanks. I'm AJ, and today we'll be looking at a game that I had in my AMX-50B, which is the French Tier 10 heavy tank. Now, contrary to its designation in World of Tanks, the AMX-50B is not meant to be played as a heavy tank, but rather a pseudo-medium tank. You're an assassin with a 4-shot auto-loader. That means that you come in, you take a target out specifically, and then you go and wait for your reload to happen. Now, I love my 50B over the T57 just because its mobility kind of allows you to be in places like this on mines. I'm gonna go and take the 50B into the middle and contest the hill with the other medium tanks. And I could not have done this in the T57 because the T57's mobility would not have let me get in place as quickly as I will. Now over here, I managed to get up the hill relatively quickly. My job here was to take out the Object 140. I don't go into the first person view in order to try to take him out. I just stay in third person and manage to connect all 4 of my shots. And now I'm gonna come back around and start the reload and seeing if I can like take anything else out along the way. But nothing seems to be contesting the hill right now, so right now I'm just gonna analyze what my next course of action should be. So at first I decide, let's go help out the eastern flank because that's relatively thin, but then the other problem is if I get too close to the hill, I will be proxy lit by one of the TDs, and I don't want to do that. And just because of the simple reason that there's artillery within the game, I am not so sure whether somebody is staring in this corner, staying in the middle of the base. Over here I decide to take a shot over at the TD, but I see the Conqueror gun carriage is lit. So I think it was well worth the risk to sort of like take out a tier 10 artillery from the game, who could have made our life pretty messy. So once I've fired my 2 shots, I again initiate a reload. There's no point in sort of like keeping 2 shells within the clip, especially because I don't actually have targets to shoot at. Now over here I'm coming towards the northern side of the map just because I actually thought that the enemy had overwhelming numbers and they might actually decide to push the E100 who was by himself. It doesn't seem like that they are wanting to do any of that, so I try to stick around and see if I can get shots at anything that might go towards the outside and flank the E100, and I'm just gonna stay in this bush until I realize that they don't have any intention of pushing. They're just gonna sit there and be happy to throw shots with an E100, and that's probably cost them the game right there, just because if they realized how thin the E100 was, they could have gone towards the outside, relatively kept safe from the TDs within the base, and managed to take out the E100. So I'm just gonna sit here and wait a little further, and this is what you got to do in the AMX-50B. You just cannot be impatient in this tank. You can get yourself into trouble relatively easy, and then like the bad chat, you can't actually get yourself out. Now I see in the south that the mediums are trying to push into the middle for some reason. At first they were not willing to contest the middle of the map, which is the hill, but now all of a sudden they seem interested in trying to push this part of the map. I come over here, I wait for the T-30 to shoot, and now I know my job is to take out one of these 2 tanks. I unfortunately missed my 2 shots at the 140, but I'm gonna make my last 2 shots count. Unfortunately he turns at the last moment, which gives him, which only tracks him and not manage to do damage. E50M sort of like forgets that there was a 183 stirring in this direction and eventually pays for it with his life. Now I initiated reloading in, and now I'm just gonna wait and see what I can do next. And it seems like we have been pushing relatively successfully in the south, and now the only thing that's kind of left is the TD, the 183. That's the only thing that's keeping us from flanking all the way around on the TDs that are in the south. So I spot the M40 and I take him out. That's another artillery that I don't have to worry about in the game. Now the only things guarding the south that their base is the 183. I was hoping that he actually moves or gets taken out, because then I would have had the backside of all these tasty TDs that have been sitting along the 8-9 line for the entirety of the game. Now this is what I was talking about, that if you get too close to the edge, you can be actually proxy lit by anything that's hugging like the outside of the ridge. The artillery fires at me, but you know, he misses. I just sort of like just stick around, and you know, I see the Foch trying to take out the 183, and I come over here hoping that the 183 would actually decide to come back, not wanting to be taken out by the Foch 155. But that's the thing, like, he doesn't do any of that. He just sits there, and I know that he's, at this point I should have realized he's so sort of like locked into like killing the Foch that, or you know, not dying from the Foch, that I could easily circle around and take out the rest of the TDs that are guarding the backside of the 8-9 line. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna see if the 183 comes back here, just hesitate for a second, realize that he has no intention of doing that, and so instead of actually staring him down for the remainder of the game, I'm just gonna go around and take out everything and anything that's in my path over here. Now first of all, I spot the T-30. First shot bounces, second shot doesn't, and fourth shot is not going to bounce. Now I have only one shot left, and I stab shot the T-30 that's in the front. Now I'm reloading again, and instead of sticking around, I'm trying to go to this corner so you know I don't get shot by the E100. And I'm trying to keep an eye on the 183 as well, that he doesn't come over here and try to shoot me, which it doesn't seem like he's willing to or is able to. So as soon as my reload's complete, I'm gonna go take on this E100. Again, my shots could have been better. I could have aimed them more carefully, especially this shot. I should not have fired, not have gone in anyways. And the last shot takes out the E100. So this line being done, the only thing left is a GW Tiger, I think, sitting base. You know, who's gonna not be, unfortunately, my 6th victim, and hence denying me the Top Gun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I have more content coming up, and I'll see you on the next episode on Playing World of Tanks.